We arrived in Honolulu hungry, which worked out well because we were able to head straight to our reservation in Waikiki at Tonkatsu Ginza Bairin. I ordered the kurobura pork loin katsu with curry rice, and my fiance got the specialty pork tenderloin katsu set, and they both came with miso soup and salad. And they were both good and really crispy, but we both agreed my kurobura pork was definitely juicier and tastier, so that's what I'd recommend, and also the curry was amazing.
We're coming home.
Dinner was Maguro Brothers, and they already had a really long line 15 minutes after they opened. We got our order after about an hour of waiting, and I'd recommend it to anyone who loves sashimi, but be prepared for a wait. Later that morning, we went to our snorkeling reservation with Pure Aloha Adventures, and I picked it because they just had really great reviews. So we went to the dock across Honolulu, got on the boat, and then we had to sail out further from the shore to get to where we are actually getting into the water to snorkel. It was a perfect clear day with beautiful weather, and we got an amazing view of the Honolulu skyline during the boat ride.
When you learn how to breathe, look at my eyes, what do you see? Feels like we're only meant to be. All of my life, where have you been? 'Cause you're the only thing I need. The only thing I need.
After snorkeling, we went to i-Naba, where they make fresh soba noodles, and it ended up being one of my favorite meals of the whole trip. The good food day continued at Miro Kaimuki for dinner, where one of my best friends works. We were actually celebrating her birthday that night, and this is more of a fine dining spot with a 5-course tasting menu with French-inspired Japanese food, and it's about $80 a person before add-ons. But everything we had was amazing, so flavorful and so interesting, and honestly, I think it's really underrated right now in terms of food in Honolulu. If you're looking for a nicer dinner during your time on Oahu, I definitely recommend checking it out.
The only thing I need. The only thing I need. Look in my eyes, what do you see? You're the only thing I need.
Can't escape your love. It's following me. I'm afraid that I won't move on if you never leave.
We arrived where we were ziplining, and after gearing up and some instructions, we got into an ATV and rode through the farm, which honestly felt like a jungle, to get to the top of the hills to the ziplines. Ready? Go!
Perfect for the weather.
The next morning, we wanted to try the Musubi shop close to our hotel for breakfast, where they sell a huge variety for a really reasonable price, but they also have a bunch of really cute merch like buttons, shirts, bags, and Musubi kits. I actually ended up buying a bag and t-shirt for myself. But we ordered our Spam Musubi, one classic, one with egg, along with spicy cod roe mayo and a curry tuna, which were all really good, and then ate that at the hotel before heading over to the KCC Farmers Market. The main reason I wanted to go to a farmer's market during my trip was to try local food that wouldn't be available at home, and it didn't disappoint. I ended up buying a couple different local products to try, but there were a ton of things that I don't typically see back home in California. The farmer's market was walking distance from the Diamond Head Hike trailhead, so we headed straight there afterward, and it was really rainy and cloudy at the beginning of the hike, but as we started getting closer to the top, the skies were getting more clear and we still had some beautiful views. We had a big breakfast the next day with Musubi from the same place as the day before, along with our hotel breakfast, some local papaya, and longans from the farmer's market, which are kind of similar to lychee. And after breakfast, we headed to the hardest hike of the trip, which was Koko Head. And even though the hike is only a mile and a half, it's a straight steep incline the entire way up these old railroad tracks, so definitely had to take a bunch of breaks, but the nice thing is that there are still views along the way that just get better the higher you go.
I can't make my mind up, I don't know what to do. I'm trying to
There was one stretch called Murphy's Bypass that was a little scary because there's no solid ground beneath you as you step over the tracks.
think that this is worth it, but do you feel the same? 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 But if you're thinking not today, I'd rather have the truth than start and love is fake. And baby, tell me if you need your space. But if you're feeling lonely, I'm an hour away. I know you told me, baby, but do you feel?
After the Malasada donuts, my wonderful fiance thought it'd be a good idea to do yet another hike right afterward. And Makapu'u is a generally easy hike, but I definitely wouldn't recommend doing it after a hike like Koko Head. So please do not follow my fiance's example. But with that said, the views were undeniably beautiful.
Can someone tell me why? Every time I fall in love, it seems to be at the wrong
For dinner, we
time.
went to Sato Seafood. It's an underrated spot right next door to the hugely popular Marugame udon, which always has a pretty outrageous line down and around the block. And Sato is never as crowded, but honestly, they deserve just as much as a crowd. They sell hand rolls and poke that were all excellent. Definitely recommend. And right in the same plaza, there's a dessert place called Matcha Cafe Maiko, and my favorite thing there of all time is the vanilla and matcha swirl soft serve.
Why do you gotta be taken? You don't know how long I've been
On day 6, we started the morning with just the hotel breakfast, which still had some really great local fruit, and then we drove to our last hike of the trip at Manoa Falls. And this trail was very unlike the other hikes that we did, very super rainforest, jungle-like, and really unlike anything that we had ever seen, but like many of the other hikes in Hawaii, still super beautiful. Then for our post-hike lunch, we tried yet another poke place in the neighborhood called Off the Hook, where we got a combo poke bowl to share along with a poke sampler. And man, you are really spoiled for choice when it comes to poke in Oahu because they were all really good. We actually moved hotels for our last 2 nights because we got a free suite with points with Hyatt, so quick room tour. We had a spacious bedroom with a lot of dresser space, plus a separate living room area, which was actually really nice, where we looked over the spa and wading pool from the window, and you can also kind of see the beach in the very back behind the pink building.
Can't keep holding on to these feelings inside. Why do you gotta be taken? Can't you see the heart is breaking for you? Why do you gotta be taken? Daydreaming got me thinking that this can all be true. Speculating, a long time waiting to hear a word back from you. Conversations in my head got me conflicted with what you said. I tend to second guess myself, like too much, 'cause I think that I've been falling ever since that day out in the road. And I don't know if this is love, but maybe this could be the start. Wondering if you feel the same. Wondering if my heart's okay. I don't know if this is love or just a phase. Just a layer.